Hello Year 8 and welcome to this science lesson about where do we come from topic, and today is a lesson 10. So let's start with the driving question for today. Remember to copy and underline the driving question in your exercise book below the keywords for today, and the driving question is, how did the pepper moth change its color? So we studied about variation and how individuals in a species show variation because of the genes they inherit from their parents. So variation exists because of mutation. But what is a mutation? Mutations are change in the genetic material, I mean DNA, resulting in a new form of the gene. Mutation can be in three different ways. So they can be harmful. So it means that this kind of mutation could cause a disorder in an individual. Neutral, so it means that the mutation won't cause any change to that individual. Or beneficial, it means that the mutation will give a sort of advantage to the individual. Okay? So one of the most common examples of mutation and variation is a pepper moth case study, where the normal gene is associated with a light moth. The mutated one instead gives a dark version of the moth. So when you have the normal gene, you will have this light form of moth. When you have the mutated gene instead, you will have the dark one. Okay? So the normal gene gives a perfect camouflage against unpolluted trees, which with lichen growing on them. So the normal gene gives an advantage in an environment with unpolluted trees, but it is a less effect on a dark park where the light mode could be easily seen by birds and they can eat it. Okay, so it won't survive because it will be easily seen by birds and birds can eat it. Actually, the mutated gene is the one affected in polluted area. In fact, this gene gives more camouflage. You can barely see the black moth in this picture, so neither the birds do. And the moth survived. In this environment, the one easily eaten by birds will be the light moth. In fact, in this picture, you cannot see the black one, and the black one will be the one that will survive because birds cannot see it. But the white one will be easily seen by birds, so the birds will eat it. If you look at the history, we will find out that in the early 19th centuries, the pepper moth was mostly known as the white-winged one. Then, in 1848, as factories covered area of England with sooty black smoke, the mutant black variant was discovered in Manchester, since the bark of the trees in this polluted area got darker. So for the black moth was easier to survive than the white one. In fact, by then 1895, 95% of the pepper moths in Manchester had black wings. But when in 1856 Clear Act developed, the area was less polluted, so the trees weren't covered of sooty black smoke anymore. So there, the black moth was replaced by the light one. Again, because for the light one now was easier to survive. Okay, now is your turn, guys. Sorry, I had a little issues. So it's your turn. I put these sentences about the evolution of the pepper moth. They are not in the right order. What you need to do is to go through them and put them in the right order. Of course, you don't have to copy all of them. You just need to put in your exercise book the right order of the letter, okay? So please pause the video, go through them, take your time to do the task. We will check that with the mark scheme later. Okay, so let's have a look to the mark scheme. So the right order is a C, E, A, B, G, D, F, because in the 17 pepper moths are pale brown color, so they were the light one. Occasionally there is a mutation, for the black one. When this dark animal rests on the tree trunk, is spotted by birds and eaten. But in 1850, the Industrial Revolution started and covered the trees with smoke. However, the mutant black moths are now better adapted. The pale brown pepper moths are no longer safe, and the species of pepper moth has evolved. So it means it changed throughout the ages, okay, to adapt to the change of the environment. Okay, so now let's try to understand this better, making a step backwards to what we said about natural selection theory. We said we can observe variation between individuals within a species. Then individuals with the most suitable characteristic breed successfully. This suitable gene gets passed to the next generation because it is the advantageous feature. Okay? For this reason, in natural selection theory, we talk about the survival of the fittest. What does it mean? Looking at the picture, you can see that over several generations, brown beetles will survive over the green one. Why does it happen? It's because birds like more the green one. Actually, it is nothing about the bird's taste. What happens is that brown beetles are better camouflaged with the surrounding environment. They have a successful adaptation to the environment. So the brown ones are the fittest, the one that will survive, that will reproduce, will pass the characteristic on the next generation, onto the next generation. Okay, so it's because the brown one has a better camouflage, so the birds cannot see them, and so the birds will eat the green one. So the green one will be eaten. They won't survive. They cannot survive, so they cannot breed, so they cannot pass the characteristic to the next generation. Instead, the brown one, they are the fittest because they are better adapted to the environment, so they will survive because birds cannot see them, so they can survive, they can breed, they can pass the gene to the next generation. Okay, so now it's your turn. It's a think pair share task. So the question is, what does survival of the fittest means? Think about the answer. Talk in pairs with someone next to you, one of your parents or one of your siblings, and then I will share with you the mark scheme. So please pause the video, take your time to do the task. Okay, let's go through the mark scheme. So what does survival of the fittest means? The organism or living thing with the most successful feature or characteristic is more likely to survive. It is more likely to reproduce. The gene for that feature are more likely to get passed on to the next generation. More organisms in the next generation will have this feature. Okay. Another task for you now, you need to fill the gaps. So using the keywords at the bottom here, okay? So of course you don't have to copy everything, just put the right words in the right order in your exercise book, and we'll go through the mark scheme when you'll be ready. So please pause the video, take your time. Okay, let's have a look at the mark scheme. So individuals within species show variation because of differences in their genes. Some of these differences are results of change in DNA called mutations. Favorable mutation can give an individual an advantage over those who carry the normal version. Individuals with a favorable or most suitable feature are more likely to survive and reproduce. The genes for this feature are more likely to be passed on to the next generation. So the whole species will evolve, will change throughout ages and generations. Okay? So, and the task, which statement is a false? So go through the 4 options and pick one that you think that is the right one. So which one is a false? Please pause the video. Okay, so the right answer is, which statement is a false? And the answer is a B, because it said dark wings have better camouflage on unpolluted tree bark. but its dark wings are better camouflage on places covered with soot. Okay? So now, as a normal science lesson, the second phase is about writing phase. I prepared for you these 4 questions for a task. So please go through them. Actually, in the next slide, I prepared some starter sentence to help you to do the task. So please pause the video, take your time, not less than 10 minutes. And we will go through the mask scheme when you will be ready. Okay, so get ready with a green pen or different color pen to mark your work or add extra detail. So, describe the main feature of 2 types of pepper moth are white wings and black wings. Then, the meaning of survival of the fittest is that the individual with the best features in the environment survived and passed on its features to the next generation. Okay, their feature, because it's individual. Sorry. Places with factories have more pepper moth with dark wings because factories produce a lot of soot. The moths with dark wings survive better in places with dark soot. In places with soot, moths with dark wings are more likely to survive and reproduce. They are more likely to pass on the genes for dark wings to the next generation. The next generation will have more moths with dark wings, because if it is a polluted environment, the tree will be covered by soot black smoke. So the black wings pepper moth will be fitter, will be better adapted to that environment, so they will survive more. Okay, survive, reproduce, passed on the gene. Then, mutation in DNA lead to variation in features. Variation is caused by random mutation in DNA. This causes some individuals to have different genes from each other. The genes can then cause different features. The mutation can create beneficial, neutral, or harmful features. If it is beneficial, it will give an advantage and the organism will survive. It will reproduce. The mutation will be passed on to the next generation in the form of the genes for that feature. Okay? So, the very last thing that I need to remind to do is today I've achieved. Remember, describe, explain, use, and combine, because I could use these sentences to help you to complete it. Remember that what you've achieved is what you've done on your own, not what you've done in green or different color pen. And the very last thing is, remember to do the 10 question quiz and show my homework related with this lesson. So well done for today. Thank you and see you next one.